Hey, are you rolling your eyes right now because yet another talented student is questioning their abilities?
We'll turn a negative into a positive with a no deficit model or a no imposter syndrome tee. Check out all of our Black Social Capital swag and stay motivated by going to staymotivatedandrisetogether.com/shop.
This is Black Social Capital.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Black Social Capital Podcast. I'm Dr. Theo, live and in the flesh. We are doing this thing live. Hey, Dr. Jaqui.
Hey, how you doing?
Have you realized that we've been doing this for 2 whole seasons?
It has been 2 years. We have been doing this. Do you hear an echo?
I don't hear an echo.
Perfect.
And if you're listening to this now, we're smart, so we probably took the echo away. Look at that! It's the magic of television. I'm excited to be here tonight. We could have been anywhere in the world, but we're here together with each other. I'm excited for this episode 1 because we only really do 1 live episode a season, and this is it. So we got some things on deck, but we're gonna switch it up again this year. And we actually have expanded our team a little bit. And so I want to bring our good friend and partner Solomon onto the chat and have him join us. What's up, Solomon?
What's up, everybody? I'm so happy to be here tonight.
I see you wearing a dope shirt. Let me see what it says.
Yeah, you already know I had to rep it. Capitalize the B t-shirt. Yes, get yours now.
You can get that in the store.
Gotta plug the store.
No,
but thank you so much for the invitation. I'm happy that I'm able to join y'all for season 2. I got to see y'all and all the amazing things y'all did for season 1, and y'all kind of took it to a whole nother level this season. So really happy to celebrate and just have some fun with y'all on the call tonight.
Look, I was excited because we were like, if Solomon's here, I can grab a beverage like I'm doing right now and kick back and let you run the show. So I know you got some questions. I know you got some questions for us.
Oh yeah.
So let's go and get the show on the road.
Yeah, well, I figured we could start things off, with a light note, with some just fun questions. Maybe play Would You Rather, the work edition. So we'll start light and then work our way up. My first question for y'all, and I'm going to be participating in this too, is would you rather steal someone's lunch or have your lunch stolen? And I do think this question shows what kind of person you are.
Dr. Jaqui, I'm gonna let you go first on this one so I can think some more.
I know I don't like this question at all because one, I'm not a thief, right? So I like if I steal someone's lunch, it's gonna be for a good reason. It's gonna be because you've already done something to me and I'm getting you back. It's not gonna be because like I forgot my lunch that day and I'm too lazy to go get one,
Right.
So maybe that's gonna be my answer because I don't want my stuff stolen. That's also not gonna sit well with
Right,
me.
exactly.
But if I will go with I'm stealing someone else's lunch, but for a good reason.
Look, I think I'm gonna have to say get my lunch stolen. Cause I'm just gonna speak it into existence that I got more money and I'm gonna just go buy some more lunch.
Theo, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, that's a sign for me to just go get a better lunch.
Yeah, level up.
All right, the next question I got for y'all, and don't forget this is the work edition, so all of these questions are related to the workplace. Would you rather have a terrible boss and a good job, or a good boss with a terrible job?
Oh, I don't like this one either.
Wait. Repeat that back one more again.
All right. Would you rather have a terrible boss with a good job or a good boss with a terrible job?
I'm gonna say good boss with a terrible job because
All
I
right.
know for
Talk
a
that
fact
out.
I know for a fact that people will frustrate me, right? And so if I have to go into a space every day and the person is frustrating me, then it's all bad. Like it's not gonna end nice. Mostly for me, I'm gonna end up doing what I need to do and being done for the day. But I'm my mantra is stay motivated and rise together, right? So I'm
That
always
is.
down to have good people around me. We can work through we can work through some BS. We can have a side chat. We can have a whole Slack channel where we talking about how trash it is, right? But when you don't have that good boss, when you really have to go buck up against the systems, I think, then you lose some time, you lose some effort, those type of things. So, that's what I would say.
For sure, for sure. So, Jackie, you have your response.
Yep. I want a good job, right? Like I want the money, I want the freedom. And if my job is good enough, right? Like if my boss is not good, then I don't spend time with them that much. They can just be terrible over by where they at. And then if my boss is yeah. So I would rather have the good job. And a terrible boss that I don't talk to very much, but I'll be completely honest, that's not my life right now. I like my job and I like my boss, and I don't like this
Amen.
question at all. I'm not
Yeah,
Look,
changing
no,
boss,
nothing.
okay. The
that you
questions
watching
are
right
going to
now.
get more lighthearted as we go along. But Jackie, I have to agree with you. I think I have to have the job that I go to every day that
Mhm.
I actually appreciate, because if that is the part of work that is the pain point for me, I don't think there's anywhere for me to go or grow. Whereas if it's the boss, then we can work on that relationship, right?
Mhm.
Hopefully.
Mm-mm. I'll tell you why I disagree. So, like, you can't work on bosses. That's why they the boss, right? They in a role where like it's the privilege and the power. So as much as you want them to work on themselves, if they don't know, then that means is nothing's gonna change,
That's fair.
right? So Dr. Jackie's answer, because she don't really like people like that, so she just gonna ignore you and do her own thing, right? I'm at the point in my career right now where I'm in some managerial roles and things like that. So I have some freedoms that my staff might not have, right? So their perspective is going to be different. But what I will say is if your boss is willing to grow, then cool. But if not, then you might have to just shift and move yourself.
Hey.
I think that's interesting because we are on, like, we have two very different specialties, right? So for Theo's specialty, he really does need the people to be cool. For my specialty,
That's because you be looking at spreadsheets.
look it.
Okay,
And
well,
the
look,
spreadsheets are nice to me.
look. That's a perfect segue for our next question. Would you rather work a job where you interact with people all day, or work a job where you are at a desk all day? And I think just from that short interaction we just saw, I already know how y'all are going to choose.
I mean, I feel like that's a both and question for me right now because I interact with people all day, but I don't because I'm at home. So there's that. But I would say, uh, yeah, definitely interact with people just because it makes the day go by faster for me,
I
and also gives me jokes to laugh at.
Yeah.
Oh,
Can you believe so and so did that?
Jackie,
Comedy.
you're agreeing with that?
No.
Oh,
I absolutely would like to be at my desk all day. I don't mind like talking to people because I really like my coworkers in the department I work in and in my division. I really like everybody, so I don't mind the meetings. But in terms of me having a productive day, I need people to leave me alone. I need to sit there. I need to think. I need to strategize. I need to figure out how to explain some really complicated stuff. People don't want to hear the ins and outs of assessment. They don't want to hear the student development theory and learning theories that go behind some of the academic success work that I do. They want like brief and succinct information and recommendations, and I gotta boil stuff down to the most meaningful thing. So just leave me at my desk. Just let me be, which is great because that's what my job does.
Right. Hey, you found the right match.
I did.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more on the Theo side of things where I need that interaction. But, after the pandemic and being forced to work from home for over a year, you just get adjusted to kind of that, I guess, distance from folks as it relates to the folks you work with or collaborate with on the regular. And so I'm a little bit more okay with being away from people now than I was before the pandemic, but still yearn for that like in-person energy every now and then.
Yeah.
All right, our last question for this series, Would You Rather Work Edition, is would you rather, and this is actually relevant to the state of California, would you rather work a 4-day work week or work 2 months on and 1 month off? Which that part is not really relevant, but the first part is.
I'm gonna let Dr. Jaqui take this one first. Boom.
I mean, just okay. I work in res life, so 2 months on could mean I don't get no weekends.
Right.
This is hard. But I work in a well-balanced res life department, so I'm gonna assume that the 2 months on means I'm working 5-day weeks.
Almost.
That sounds like shots fired. Shots fired.
Okay, I was like, I almost want you to shout out the department because the well-balanced res.
Oh, my department is great. I'm not talking about nobody else's department. I mean,
that's not what I heard.
They do what works for them. They do what works for them in their institution.
What I hear you saying is,
look, I'm not throwing no shade. I'm just saying, I'm just, I'm throwing sunshine over on my department because things are good where I'm at. Okay. So I'm going to say my department, we do work-life balance. So I know that they would not have me really working, 7-day weeks back to back for 2 months. But yeah, I want that month off.
I hear you. Okay. What about you, Theo?
So I think I would go with the month off because I've had a couple of different roles where you do like a system where, hey, you work the weekend and you get a day off during the week, or they try to counterbalance, right? And those extra days, those 3-day weekends, like those kind of blend together, right? Where it's like, man, I know I work on Saturday and I get, this Monday off, right? Usually that's not enough. Mm-hmm. So I would say like, I like being able to grind in the paint and then not, right? And just be like, I ain't doing shit. Right? Like, what you doing today? Not a goddamn thing. That was my country thing. And I know you from Louisiana. Y'all sound like goddamn thing.
Look, don't put that on us. Don't put that on us.
No? Rode.
Look, I feel like I'm somewhere in between of both of y'all. Like, I like the consistency of a 4-day work week, but I feel like you could get more done with a month's time as it relates to things that you personally want to get off the ground or work on. So I think if I had to choose one, ultimately it would be the month. But I like the consistency or the I don't know. I guess a month would still be consistent, or every third month off would be consistent too, but it doesn't feel as balanced as the 4-day work week.
I'm trying to be balanced. Everything ain't balanced. Yeah,
that's true.
Learn how to work unbalanced.
Look, that's just how my brain works. But thank
Good.
y'all for entertaining me with those silly questions. That was just to kind of get us warmed up. But today we're going to be talking about two big things. First, just reflecting on the academic year that we've just had, or most of us are wrapping up right now at our institutions. And then secondly, doing a link check or a link check in on just the natural hair lock journey. So I'm excited to dive into some of this with y'all. But Jaqui, I think we're gonna start with you just to kick us off with what were some of maybe your professional successes this year and some of the biggest lessons this past academic year that you're taking away.
Yeah. So definitely a ton of I've done a lot of learning this year. And it's been a productive year. And that feels really good because 2020 and 2021 were a lot. And I feel like I'm just getting into a really good stride this year. But let me back up. So I at work I was able to hold a steady assessment schedule, which if you know anything about assessment and a residential life department, like it is so easy to get thrown off. But I didn't get thrown off. I have been holding a steady assessment schedule for the last 3 years. So
That's
I get the
huge.
data at the same time every year, same population. I get a good response rate for the most part, not 2020 though. But I've done what I could do, right?
Yeah, you
And
have to
then
incentivize that response with your
yes,
part.
I give away
Everybody get
all
$25
not
from for.
everybody. That's bribery.
I mean, call it what you will.
No, we do a raffle. You can win
Oh,
and
a raffle.
you get money for
That's
the student
different.
store.
I like you, Jackie. Don't listen to Theo.
I'm not, don't worry. My little system works. I get all my data. Um And then just in like that same kind of lane, my year over year data and the way that I've been keeping records has been super helpful to my department. We got some major wins. I don't want to name exactly what they are right now, but like we got some things done that I think that if I had been organized differently or if I wasn't holding things steady, that we would not have been able to walk into some really important meetings on
Yeah,
short notice, extremely ready. Like we had some good outcomes this year in my department. I'm really excited for what the next several years is going to look like because of that. But a lesson. So I was trying to hire student staff for next year and I tried to rush some things and it didn't work out. It ended up
okay,
taking the same amount of time. Like when I tell you if Haste Makes Waste was a person, it would be me this semester. I tried to like rush and get student staff all hired so I didn't have to worry about it later in the semester. It doesn't work that way. Like people apply for jobs when they apply for jobs, right? So
right.
it didn't work out. So that was all at work. And then outside of work, I'm doing a bunch of stuff. So this work-life balance situation is really working well for me. So a lot of wins at work, some lessons learned at work, but outside of work, I was able to be part of the Student Affairs Now podcast, which is a national podcast. For student affairs professionals, it's a huge deal. They have like over 30,000 downloads, and they've only been around a couple years. Like they are like the bomb. So if there's anything you want to know about student affairs or a conversation you want to have about student affairs, that is a good place to go look. So I was on the podcast with other student affairs assessment professionals and it went really well. I really enjoyed the conversation. I really enjoyed meeting the people that I was on the podcast with that day. And the host of course was awesome. And then outside of that, I'm also continuing to do other things. So I serve on a board for a nonprofit called Center Force. They're a reentry service. They help current and formerly incarcerated people and their families. Um, just like with whatever it is that they needed, just full case management. So if you need a job, they're trying to help you get a job. If you need assistance getting your stuff together with the court so you can get custody or joint custody of your kids, they help you with that. Just whatever it is that you need, right? like really, really like caring people, checking in with them all the time. I love this organization. So I'm serving on the board for that and helping them out with some projects. I'm still reviewing for the Journal of Student Affairs Inquiry. I really love this journal because it is specifically for student affairs assessment, and to be able to help create knowledge in that way feels really good, feels really meaningful. And then the last thing I'll say is that I'm piloting. I'm almost done, but I'm piloting a long-term investing class for stocks. And I created this like 6 week class, and I'm piloting it right now, and I'm hoping to make it available to people who are interested in learning about long-term stock investing. And I say all of that to say that what I really learned in this academic year or this podcast year is that being consistent and intentional with setting aside time to work on projects is super important. And that it's also really important to do one project at a time and do everything you can to make it successful before you move on to the next project. And it's just been good. I've had a good year.
Oh, that was an amazingly impressive list of accomplishments, and the words of wisdom. Like, I think that was so spot on right now. Theo, anything you want to add?
Oh man, of course I gotta add because Jaqui just talked about what she was up to, so I gotta talk about what I've
Oh,
been
of
up
course,
to.
of course, of
I've
course.
been up doing things. Um, so I think 2020, 2021, 2022. I think the one key word for me has been shift in so many ways. So the organization that I helped to lead here in California has been going through a lot of shifts. It's a brand new organization in the LA area, right? So it's all been about defining who we are and what our community is going to be like as it relates to supporting first generation college students here in LA, right? So that's the day gig, right? Um, I think speaking to that, I look at that in two buckets. What does that look like for um, let's say the end user, right? We'll call it end user, the students that I work with, and also our volunteers. But then I'm also providing some thoughts around, what does that look like, for the organization as a whole, right? And so, if you think about what organizations over the past year have done, they're talking about, what do people like? Do they like to work from home? Do they like to, um, coming to the office? Do they like things virtual? Do they like things synchronous? Do they like things asynchronous? Right. So all of those things are happening at my workplace, and it's great because I can, just pull off my shelf, this document here, which literally is my dissertation, and I can say like, I know what I'm talking about because I studied this and have proof positive for some of the theory and some of the practice that I'm suggesting to various like organizations, including the place that I work, as well as other volunteer organizations that I'm helping kind of shift and shape their experience as well, right? And so I think that's been really helpful. So that gets me excited, and I think I've learned that I always come back to this idea of where can I combine media and entertainment and um, education all in one space. And so I keep coming back to consulting. I keep coming back to the podcast. So I know in 2023, I hope to do more of this. You'll see more of my face. You'll see, you'll hear more of my voice, whether that's on a campus near you, or in Zoom meetings or whatever is appropriate for your organization. I will say the other thing that I learned this year in interviewing some of our amazing guests this year, people are doing
Yes,
some
please
some
shout
some
some of
dope
them out.
things, right? So I think I get really excited, and I think the one thing that I noticed is that all of our guests had similar um, similar points of pain or challenge, I would say, and they've found ways to pivot and shift. And if I, again, going back to that keyword of shifting, learning that shifting is just part of your process, and shifting shouldn't stall you, right? And so I think that that's what I've learned. If we even listen to our last episode, just before this one with Donnie Aldine, like she shifted countries, right? And I'm like, I don't know how that works for you, but you made the shift, right? Or we have folks like Ken Nicholas, who's shifting the landscape of LA by helping people get microloans for their business, right? So it's a part of a shift in mindset for people, right? And so it's just really interesting to see how that term, I mean, it shouldn't be surprising, but it is, right? And so I think for me moving forward, I think I'm going to get good at expecting shifts, and then working within them. So I'll stop there, and see what happens next.
And man, y'all always take my breath away. I mean, between the two of y'all, I heard
That's
elements of both the stay motivated piece and the hustle there, but also the rise together piece, the work that you do, Jaqui, and the work that you do, Theo, with just helping first generation students. You all are truly like living, the message that you all are putting out there. So I just want to raise a toast to that amazing academic year that y'all had. Yes, cheers. And the amazing guests y'all had this season. Seriously. Awesome. And just for folks who are, not familiar with what I do on the team, I joined this year as a creative producer, helping put on some of these type of events and whatnot behind the scenes, working on some of the creative pieces. And it's been an amazing journey for me to work with both Dr. Theo and Jaqui on this. They're so inspiring for me. So happy to be a part of the team and a part of this work. We have one more topic that we're going to talk about today.
But before we even get to that topic, right? Look, we're going to pause for the cause, because we don't just mess around with just anybody, right? So you ain't gas yourself up enough. Like, people have gotten to know us over the course of 2 seasons, and they just now met you, and they want to know who you are, where your grandmama stay, all these different types of things, right? So take us to the beginning. Tell us a little bit more about you. Why are you in the space and what you planning to do? Because we know it's about to be a takeover. So
yeah, well, you already
give us everything.
Yeah, you already told them that I'm from Louisiana, so I guess I'll start there. Born and raised in New Orleans, moved out to Los Angeles in 2015 to study at USC for my master's degree in higher ed administration. Before that, I was studying social work at a rural state public institution, in North Louisiana called Northwestern State University in Natchitoches, Louisiana. If any of y'all have ever heard of that city, it's the oldest city in the Louisiana Purchase. And then came to LA, fell in love with LA, USC, the whole nine, the diversity, just being able to like learn new things, make new connections. Definitely joined a bunch of professional conferences and opportunities, NASPA, ACPA, NCORE, had a bunch of fun going to those types of conferences. After grad school, worked a few years as an academic and career advisor for the School of Education at USC. That was really amazing. Really loved having the opportunity to advocate for students, and many of the students look like me, coming into an institution like USC, which is actually how I met Dr. Theo during that time. So that was when I was working as the vice president of the Black Graduate Student Network, and Theo was still at USC. And from there, transitioned back to orientation programs, which is what I was most familiar with before, starting grad school is my favorite functional area of higher education. And now I'm in my 5th year of my career, which is really hard to believe sometimes because when I reflect back on the journey, or 2017 when I graduated, it doesn't feel like 5 years has passed, but I certainly feel like I've learned 5 years of lessons since then. So just feeling really fortunate to know people like y'all in my career, to have to just listen and learn from. Most recently started a business, Gumbo Creatives, which is also how I work with Jaqui and Theo. Mostly doing creative consulting, helping with content creation, a little bit of graphic design right now, but hoping to continue growing that, and growing outside of the field, personally. So thank y'all so much for always hyping and gassing me up. Y'all never fail.
You can't stop, won't stop. And I have one more question for you, because you say you learned 5 years of lessons, and
Okay.
I know somebody in Louisiana is saying Solomon done changed, right? So tell me how you've grown in terms of what didn't you expect that you now know, or what is a shift? That's the key word of the episode today.
Yeah,
right?
I do feel like shift is
what's the
the
shift
key
that
word.
you've seen in yourself?
Yeah, so I'm gonna reveal my age here, but I'm just I'm just over that 30 hump.
Woo! So hard.
When I think about shifting, when I think about that word, that has been one of that this experience has been very, I'm just say illuminating. I would say that the biggest shift for me has been with boundaries. And I feel like we've touched on different parts of this conversation earlier, but just setting boundaries and knowing what you want to commit your time to, but not feeling any remorse, FOMO, or guilt after you've made that decision. And I think that was new for me on the other side of the 30 hump, because I used to feel a lot of like shame or guilt after I made a decision when I was, before I was over this hump. And now I'm able to make those decisions. And have y'all ever seen those memes like how I sleep knowing that my man not cheating on me? And it's like somebody like tucked in the bed.
Sleeping good.
Like, that's how I sleep, knowing that I've made the right decision for me as it relates to my professional life, as it relates to my personal life, how I'm spending my time and how I'm exerting my energy. I think that has been the hugest lesson, but also just being able to communicate, right? Having the language to say how I'm feeling, having the language to say what I'm needing, that has taken time to refine, that has taken the vocabulary to learn, the emotional intelligence, like strength training, the whole nine. And I'm feeling really good in that realm right now, but it's taken work to get here.
Come on, put in that work. That's what we're talking about. But I definitely wanted to create that space for you to say those things, because I know for sure someone is listening, and they can definitely relate, right? Maybe they just got to this hump that you're talking about, this aha moment, right? But Dr. Jaqui and are listening and rolling our eyes, because we remember that. It wasn't that long ago. We thought we was doing big things, and we've worked on ourselves, right? We found something.
Look, we're gonna do another cheers to the shift, man.
Yeah.
Cheers. Y'all can see my cup almost empty.
Yeah, your cup is almost empty.
Your last cheers.
Well, this episode can't last beyond the cup. So we're gonna get to the next thing, right?
Yeah. Okay, so this next part, and this is mostly, the first part is going to be y'all talking about your beautiful lock journeys that y'all are on. But also, we're just going to be talking about hair in the workplace in general, maybe some of the experiences that you have had or heard of through colleagues or friends. Let's just chop it up a little bit about hair right now.
Well, I don't want to get slapped or nothing. I just want to be able to create a safe space. I'm going to start off with the fact that nobody's going to get slapped based off of this conversation at all.
Wait,
why? What are you talking about,
Theo? Slapped for what? What happened?
Well, somebody famous got slapped making hair.
For talking about people's hair.
I'm just trying to create a safe boundary.
I was so confused.
I didn't follow that at first.
Okay.
But
look, see, I'm always a couple steps ahead. I'm just throwing it out there. But yeah, I'll say to kick things off, I'll say that this is my second set of locks.
Okay.
I'm excited about it. Some of y'all have lock journeys and lock birthdays, and be like, I started my lock journey on, February 2nd, and every February 2nd I celebrate it, right? Whatever, right? I started my first journey because I thought that it would look good if I had them. My dad is from Jamaica, and I was like, look, I feel like in our genes, the hair is gonna last a long time. I want to see what it looks like. I like them. Ended up, I get antsy and irritated and bored, so I cut them all off. I had a moment, and then I was like, hey, I want them back. So this is my second.
Hold on, cause you didn't just like, oh, I'm gonna cut my hair. Like you went randomly one day and went to the barbershop and just went bald.
So Jackie was there, apparently.
I wasn't. I wasn't thinking all the way through. I mean, the thing could have been like, yes, I could have cut, because my first set of locks was like hella long. That was like mid back, and I was just like doing a whole bunch of this, like get them out the way, and I was just like, I can't take this shit no more. Like, and so I was just like, I'll take it all off. When in reality, I could have just been like, I'm gonna cut them shorter.
Right.
I didn't get to that point of thought.
Very dramatic.
But any season, any reason, right?
Right.
So this is the second rendition, the redo, and it's cool. Jaqui mocks me talking about how long her hair is and blah blah blah.
I don't do any of that actually. I just mind my own long hair business. Okay.
Right.
But she said stuff like that.
You tried to paint the picture.
My hair is long. What do you want me to do? I mind my own business.
It is long. What I'm saying is my hair was also long, and now it's just getting back to where it was. I feel like you look down upon me, and I was there before you.
How do we get here?
I'm speaking the truth.
You're not. This is all in your head. There's nothing wrong with the length of your hair, and the length of my hair is amazing, and it's fine. Okay, that might have been a little shady, but it wasn't meant to be shady.
See? That's what I'm talking about.
It wasn't meant to be.
What I'm talking about. But yeah. Other than that, I like to go to my barber person. They palm roll and give me a lineup at the same time. I wish I went more often because I'd be looking ridiculous between 3 or 4 weeks at a time. And Jackie don't want to be seen with me nowhere.
That is not true.
I started getting braids, Theo, with my own clippers. You got to get braids some weeks. It'll grow back.
Please tell him, because that's what I be saying. I be like, just sometimes, just do it yourself.
You'll go back.
Look, y'all think I'm talented in that way. Everybody know that role. I don't have that talent or the patience. But anyway, enough about me, Dr. Jaqui. Your hair is looking flawless.
Now we're deflecting.
No. Actually, I'm about to sponsor
superstar.
Jaqui, just because we do actually need to get into these braids right now, because yeah, almost need to shout out the stylist too.
Who that stylist?
Okay, well, I will tell you who started my locks, but I did this. So
okay, styled by Dr. Jaqui.
Look, but I don't do other people's hair, so don't hit me up for that because carpal tunnels is real. I got a desk job. I gotta preserve my little wrists. But I have it's what, May 2022. So next month, officially, I'm at 10 years.
Wow.
Yes.
I've known Jaqui for more than 10 years.
We have, because I was wearing all the, I used to wear straight wigs, weaves, braids, twists with extensions.
Now you're making me wish we had the throwback slideshow up for the audience right now.
I used to do it. You know that trend on social media, and they be like, and it's a black girl, and it's a black girl, and she can wear hair in braids, and she can wear hair. That is me. I did it all. I used to go to work purposely one day with a short pixie cut wig, and the next day with a weave down my back. Like what?
It was the DMX challenge when they were changing up the looks every name.
Yes. That was me. So let me get into it. I have 4C hair, which I love now, and it took me a while. It was definitely a journey. I am very fortunate to have a mother who also has 4C hair and expressed appreciation for her hair and talked about how beautiful it was, and to have a father to talk about how beautiful my mother was, right? So I am extremely, extremely lucky because I know not everyone has that. But even with that, I still grew up thinking that wearing your natural hair as a Black woman only was something that 3B hair women could do. So I really did have a lot of growing to do. I also think part of it is that like it takes a lot of trying and a lot of products and a lot of experimentation when you're 4C and you're trying to figure out how to wear your hair as an adult when you didn't learn it as a kid. That's definitely something that I see a lot of people doing right now. Like people are going through different products and experimenting with different things and just learning their hair because for us 80s babies, it was just like, when you grow up, you get the just for me, right? And I never had a perm. So I don't have that, experience, and I didn't have that layer of things of like, to kind of learn or unlearn or, grapple with however it needed to be grappled with. But so I mean, it's just a lot when you are a Black woman thinking about like how you're gonna present yourself. And then I went into corporate education, right? And I was like, oh, I gotta be presentable at work. Like, what does that even mean, right? So I really did have a lot of growing to do, and I really love seeing more and more women with 4C hair wearing their hair in social settings and workplaces, and they're in its natural state and just doing cute stuff with it and just loving their hair and just not just wearing their hair like everybody else does the way it grows out their scalp. I love it.
Just two really quick pop culture references that I feel like are relevant to what you were saying. Insecure in the amazing showcasing that they did of natural hair and different natural hairstyles that would work amazing in the workplace. But then also I think about beautiful like women with dreads, and I think about Chloe and Halle and just kind of the attention that they have brought to the versatility and style of dreadlocks and what you can do with that hairstyle. So just wanted to offer that.
Yeah, but we can't not see your head.
I mean, look, I was thinking about a bunch of things when y'all were talking. Like, I feel like my lock journey has almost started every time I've gotten twists and left them in too long, right?
That
When
is
when
how that works.
when you pass that point where you know you should have took them out, and now you got to think about if you should just let it go to locks, or if you're gonna sit here and struggle and comb them out. And every time I sit there and struggle and comb them out, but it's just because I don't know, I love my fro. I can't picture not having access to a fro. Even though I would love to have locks, I can't rock a fro if I have locks, you know. And so until I'm tired of the fro, it's gonna be here. But
How
in
far
terms,
can you go?
but one thing that I will say in terms of my fro and just natural hair in the workplace, I'll never forget the year I graduated undergrad. You know, I didn't know how to take care of my hair the way that I do now. And although it may look like I'm not taking the best care of it right now, when I was
Your hair is healthy and thriving. It is fine. I know what that is. You taking good care of yourself.
That's juices and berries.
Right.
When I was even undergrad, it looked very different. That's what I'll just leave that at. And I'll never forget my mom telling me that no one was going to hire me with my hair looking like that. And so I shaved it all off, and then afterward I just felt overwhelming regret and just like, not shame, but just like I didn't feel like me anymore, and I felt like I had changed myself for something, you know. And I'll never forget just telling myself like I'll never cut my hair for a job again, and that if a company couldn't, you know, see me being professional with my hairstyle the way I like my hairstyle, then that's a place that is not, you know, meant for me. And it's just so great to see new legislation like the Crown Act be introduced that protects a bunch of, you know, different natural hairstyles, and just really puts it in a protected class almost, in terms of discrimination. So I don't know. Let's talk about that a little bit. Have y'all seen or read about that?
Yeah, I have a couple thoughts, right? So I thought that the Crown Act is very much needed, right? But it also, for me, it was always like one of those things where I'm like, when you look to your left and you look to your right, like nobody else has this issue where, like, I have to have a law to say that I'm okay based off of what's already there, right? Like why is this a law? Like, to me, this law is needed only because like we've acknowledged the privilege and power of the systems at play, right? The responsibility, like the idea of professionalism and what that is, and like how we navigate that is based off of folks' power, right? Mm-hmm. And so if they say like your hair is not powerful, like then we feel in a certain type of way, right? And so these laws are really just in place to say like, nah, like, you know, keep on doing what you naturally do, and nobody else has that. So that's always been interesting for me.
Yeah, Jaqui, just for the folks. Oh, I'm sorry, Theo. I don't want to cut you off.
No. I think that if you look at who signed on to the law, like in terms of representation and things like that, like Dove and like, you know, and how they like signed on and said like, hey, like we're about image, like this is important, right? So I think that that's important in terms of like the like the capitalist side of things, the business side of things is important, so it gets more exposure. I also think about things like people say, you know, why is this important or why is it not important? I think about, you know, both Dr. Jaqui and I are part of organizations, fraternal sorority or organizations, and I know in fraternities, like one of our last steps for many organizations is they cut your hair, right? They cut your hair, and some organizations give you a choice, others don't. But when you go down to not having your hair, like what does it represent when you don't have hair versus when you do? Do you have a crown even if you don't have the actual you know follicle or whatever, right? Or the actual hair, right? Like what is the meaning behind it? And I think for Black people, like the meaning of hair means something different, right? Like
You're
if you
getting
think
deep
about
on
no, I mean it's true, right? If you think about like Native American people here, um, on the continent, like they're very attached to hair, right? They grow it and it means something to them, right? If you go to Africa, many tribes in various countries have meaning associated to their hair, and so like this law really is just one of those things that says like your hair may not mean something to you, right? But we're trying to have this law so that we can validate it in your eyes that it means something to us, right?
So
Like,
that's what
yeah,
I want to spend some time talking about. Just for any listeners who might not be familiar with the Crown Act, Jaqui, I was hoping you would feel comfortable maybe walking us through a little bit of the history of the Crown Act and maybe what it's about.
Yeah. So yeah, the Crown Act stands for creating a respectful and open world for natural hair, i.e., crown. And as it stands right now, the military and a dozen or so states, with California being the first, go Cali, they've passed either policies or laws that are basically in alignment with the Crown Act. So a couple months ago, in March 2022, this was making news headlines because the House of Representatives passed it, but I don't think that they were actually able to expedite the vote because some of the white men in Congress agreed with Jim Jordan, who is the Republican rep for Ohio. He basically said that he wanted to focus on issues that the American people cared about, to which he was reminded that Black people are American people as well. So therein basically lies like the reason that this needs to be a federal law with real penalties for discrimination, because it is like Dr. Theo said, my hair grows out my scalp, and it is
Right.
curly and kinky, and it does all these things, and I can palm roll it, every week or month or whatever, and have it look like this, and be able to maintain my hair myself, as we talked about a little bit before, where if my hair was being straightened, oh, my hair does not like to be straight. And I don't like straightening it, and he doesn't like to be straight. But anyways, it's really a needed law. It is, I mean, the anti-blackness is just rampant. And the fact that, we're finally able to get a law through the House where we're talking about just allowing people to live their lives with the hair that grows out of their head.
Right.
Um, and it's black hair, right? Like we're really trying to address anti-blackness, and people are like, "Oh, that's not important." Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
so I think one of the things I think about, right? Like, because often you don't know what you don't know, right? And one of the things I think about is like how long it takes to do hair for us, right? And I'm like, it, if you spent 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours doing hair, and then you go to the job and they're like, nah. I'm like, you know how long I spent on this hair? It's important.
No.
Because I don't spend like at least 2 hours of it having to just dry, and then the other half like making it look nice to the way
You're
I want to do it,
annoying.
right? And so like that, like the logistics of it. Like some people, they just wet their hair and they're good, right? They have that privilege, if you
Right.
call it.
That's all right. That's all
But I,
right.
but I also call it a privilege to be like, can your hair do this? And can
mhm.
your hair do that? can't do this.
That's that black privilege.
Yeah, right. And so, like, those are the things that I think about in these laws. It's like time is money, money is power. You know, I'm like, I spent time and money in this process, but I get to my job, and y'all got an issue or a problem.
Right.
Whereas my community, when they see me, they celebrate me. They tell me how fly it is. You know, I'm doing all these things, and I don't have that elsewhere. So I think about that a lot.
Yeah.
I just want to say that 4 hours is extremely short to get your hair done.
Look. I was trying to help them out and just be like, for 4 hours for them, you know, that's a long time. I know it take longer.
Okay.
We might have other people listening. The ops might be listening. I don't know.
No, and that's fine. I just want to, because I mean, locks and certain styles, yes, it'll take me 4 hours, 4 to 6, right, for my entire process. But when I was doing extensions, when I was doing the braids, 10, 12 hours, 15 hours, 2 days.
Absolutely not.
Easy.
Absolutely
And
not.
then you
that's
tell me
because you're not
no.
living on the East Coast.
And then the prices.
I feel like
the prices that y'all pay.
Longer.
Yes, and it costs that much, right? The amount of time and money.
Right.
I spent 10
The
hours
money
and
part.
$200 or more, right?
It's the money part for me.
Ooh, and no. Unacceptable.
But no, it really is nice to just see that things are going towards the right direction as it relates to inclusion, as it relates to being Black in the workplace. Still have a long ways to go in many other areas, but we've already talked about how important hair is in our community, and it's nice to see that this has been addressed, at least in certain states so far. Well, with that, that is all that I have for us tonight in terms of topics and just conversation. Thank y'all so much for your willingness. I mean, obviously, it's your show. So, you know, I already knew y'all were willing. But again, thanks for including me. I had such a fun time chatting with y'all, and I'm looking forward to the next time we do this.
I'm down for you hosting more and more shows. I think this was great. I think before we call it a night or a day or afternoon, whenever you're listening to this, because you might be listening to this whenever. Right. I do want to give it a shout out to Huey's Sons, who produced this hoodie, Nat Turner's hoodie. It's a dope hoodie. They got it in different colors. But they've been a great sponsor and a friend to the show for a really long time. So shout out to Huey's Sons. Go to hueysons.com and get your joint today. I know they got new flavors of the week every week.
They do.
And doing amazing work to support great things going on in the community. I know coming up
real quick.
Yep.
Sorry. I feel like we're kind of doing the Met Gala thing. Like, who are you wearing? Or I don't know.
Yeah, who are you wearing?
Right. So you're wearing Huey Sons, and Solomon is wearing Stay Motivated, Rise Together, or BSC, right? And I am wearing Melanets. So this is my Melanated Excellence shirt from Melanets. If you listen to that episode with Juan Young, you will know that I was shopping while we were talking because the stuff was really cute. And then my hoodie and my shirt came like 2 days later. It was great.
Do you remember which episode number that was, Jaqui?
No, but it was great.
Look. I think it was season 1. Was it season 1?
It was
season 1. Right now.
It was season 1.
It was season 1. So if you missed season 1, you better go on and catch up, because season 3 is about to pop off in the fall. We're gonna have some amazing guests for the show. And if you know someone that would love to have conversation with us, you know, I invite you to go to staymotivatedrisetogether.com. We've got a drop down menu there. You can learn more about the podcast, catch up on episodes, but also submit your application to be on the show, to come kick it with me, Dr. Jaqui, Solomon, and see what's going on. We'll actually have some more live episodes in season 3, and we'll have some audio content for you as well. I think that it's super dope that all of our mediums are changing. So you can catch us on Facebook, whoever's still on there. You
Don't
can.
do people like that.
I mean, but technically, if you on Instagram, you're still on Facebook because
Right.
they owned by the same company, right? So let's not even do that, right?
Okay.
So we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. Find us at Black Social Cap. Tell your friends and your friends' that this is your favorite podcast. You can find it on the stations and the platforms that you're listening to right now. So that's Apple, that's Spotify, that's Anchor, to pick the platform that you want. We're also on Google Podcasts as well. So we got that Android, Apple love going on as well.
That crossover.
Yeah. I mean, we're out here and we're going to be back for the next season. So I think with that might be a wrap, at least in my book. You got anything else to say, Dr. Jaqui?
No, it's been a pleasure. It was so good having you here, Solomon.
Thank you so much. And thank you all for tuning in. Those of you who are listening, we'll see you back next episode.
And we out.